All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about something that's on a lot of people's minds: dating after 50. It's an exciting new world for sure, but it can also be a little tricky to navigate. So, whether you're just getting back out there or you've been single for a while, think of this as a modern guide to what can be a really rewarding new chapter.
So, first things first, you should know that you are not imagining things. This is a huge demographic shift. Get this, the divorce rate for people over 65 has actually tripled in the last 30 years. It's a trend people are calling the Gray Divorce, and it's happening because, well, we're living longer and our ideas about life are changing. And what that means is there's this whole new wave of mature, experienced adults jumping back into the dating scene.
And look, there's no denying it. The dating world is different now. You've got apps, a whole new set of rules, new words to learn. But here's the best part. So have you. This isn't like dating in your 20s. You're coming to the table with a lifetime of wisdom. You know yourself better, and that actually makes finding a real, genuine connection so much more likely. So let's start by getting a feel for this new dating landscape. And the most important thing to remember right off the bat is you're in very, very good company. This is definitely not a journey you're taking on your own.
Just how good is that company? Well, according to the Pew Research Center, a full 30% of Americans 50 and older are single. That's nearly 1 in 3. So if you ever feel like you're the only one out there figuring this out, trust me, you are far from it.
So, now that we know you're not alone, where do you even begin? Well, that brings us to the most important first step: preparing your heart and your mind. Seriously, before you even think about downloading an app or asking a friend for a setup, the real work, it starts with you.
And it all comes down to this one central question. What do you really want? See, at this stage of life, dating probably isn't about ticking off those old boxes, like starting a family. It's about finding someone who genuinely makes your life better. So, what does that actually look like for you right now? And to help you get clear on that, here are a few key things to really think about. Going through these helps you date with intention, not just blind hope. It's about being really honest with yourself about your needs, your deal breakers, and what you're truly dreaming of for this next phase of your life. You know, dating coach Kirsten Rao put it so perfectly with this. It's not about starting over from scratch. It's about leveling up. This is your moment to be more you than ever before, and to build a relationship that actually fits the person you are today. Okay, you've done the inner work. Now for the practical stuff. Where do you actually meet people? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of both the modern ways and the good old-fashioned ones. It really boils down to two main paths you can take. You've got online dating, which, let's be honest, offers amazing convenience and lets you meet people you'd never cross paths with otherwise. But, and this is a big but, don't forget about the power of your own community. Volunteering, a book club, a hiking group. These are fantastic ways to meet people who already share your interests, all in a really natural, low-pressure way. Now, if you do decide to go the online route, your profile is everything. It's your digital handshake. The golden rule: be honest. Use photos from this year, not 10 years ago. And try to keep things positive. Talk about what you love and what you're excited about, not a long list of things you don't want. And above all, be patient. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And speaking of online, let's get serious for a second, because this is huge. Your safety is absolutely non-negotiable. Scammers are out there, and they often target older adults. A quick video call before you meet can work wonders to confirm someone is who they say they are. And that first date, it should always, always be in a public place. No exceptions.
Okay, so you've put yourself out there, you've connected with someone, and now you have a date. Awesome. Let's talk about how to navigate those first few meetings and make them a success.
I think a lot of us can relate to this quote from a contributor to Psychology Today. It's almost a universal experience, right? The number one complaint in dating is the one-sided conversation. Remember, a first date isn't a job interview or a performance. It's about seeing if there's a spark, a real two-way connection. So here's a little cheat sheet. The biggest do by far is to listen. Be genuinely curious about the person sitting across from you. And the biggest don't: please leave your ex out of the conversation. The first date should be about the future, about new possibilities, not about digging up the past.
Okay, here's a term from the modern dating playbook that you absolutely need to know: love bombing. If someone comes on super strong, just showering you with over-the-top compliments and intense attention right away, be careful. I know it can feel flattering, but it's often a manipulation tactic and a major, major red flag.
And we also have to talk about physical health because this is really important. According to the CDC, STIs among adults 55 and older have more than doubled in the last decade. So even if pregnancy is completely off the table, using protection is just an essential part of keeping yourself safe and healthy.
And that brings us to our final section, building a real connection. You've made it past the tricky first few dates, so now what? Let's talk about how you can nurture that spark into something real and lasting, and do it completely on your own terms.
This quote comes from broadcast journalist Mei Lee. She found that the pandemic, which forced everything to slow down, actually allowed her to get to know her now fiancé on a much deeper level through long phone calls before they ever met in person. It's just a great reminder that taking things slow can be incredibly powerful.
You know what one of the absolute best parts of dating at this age is? You get to throw the old rulebook out the window. You don't have to follow some traditional script. Plenty of older couples have amazing relationships while keeping separate homes, separate finances. You get to design a partnership that truly works for your life.
Here's another piece of advice that you hear from so many people who found love later in life: let go of your old type. As we get older, we start to realize that what makes a partner great isn't their height or their job, but their character, their kindness, their values. You might be surprised by who you connect with if you just stay open.
And finally, we have to talk about rejection. Because, yep, it's going to happen. It's just part of the deal. The key is to completely reframe how you think about it. Rejection is not a verdict on your worth. It's just data. It's a sign that you two weren't a match, and that frees you to find someone who is. It's a normal, even necessary part of the process. So I want to leave you with this one final thought. A question, really. What if the whole point of this journey isn't just about finding a partner? What if it's about enriching your own life by getting out there, trying new things, meeting new people? Maybe the real prize isn't just finding that special someone, but becoming a more vibrant, curious, and engaged version of yourself in the process.